Thank you for joining me again, Mike Vincent, for this
You
carrier
got it,
update
brother. How are you?
presented by PowerFleet. I'm great. Not a lot has changed since we talked last, but those tender rejection rates,
Nice.
they are jumping up again as we thought they would. Interesting little dip yesterday, right over the weekend. Tender rejection rates came down, but you know what? It wasn't a huge dip by any means.
No, no, and you usually see that kind of lull on a weekend anyway.
Yeah. Normally it kind of flattens out a little bit, but this one, it fell back. Anyway, you know, not all lines are straight.
No.
So,
between 2 points.
So some wisdom from the Sultan there. So tender rejection rates on their way up again as we approach Memorial Day. We do expect it to continue to get tighter as we approach the holiday. You know, it's not unnatural to see this because if we look at our tender volume index along with our tender lead times, we see demand increasing and then lead times increasing as well. This is a natural occurrence. People are trying to get out of town before the holidays. Shippers are taking vacations, so they're saying, hey, we're going to push all this freight.
Get it scheduled. I can go on vacation. I don't have to worry about it. Got a truck coming in on Tuesday to take it. Yeah.
They're doing the right thing because they're not waiting until Friday.
That's right.
Which you and I have had numerous experiences with the Friday rush before a holiday. Don't do that, especially, you know, the carriers aren't going to be able to cover that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure brokers are calling going, hey, what do you got for me Friday? What are you going to have next week? And I go, well, we'll call you later. And then Friday afternoon at 4, oh, I got 7. Well, yeah.
But the nature of the nature of the world right now is that sometimes we don't get to choose that. So it will be a thing as we lead into the holiday. And of course, as some of that freight is not as urgent, we'll get pushed into next week.
Yes.
And I think that's probably a good thing because capacity, you see demand has not been able to really cross much higher than it is right now. So these are the total tender volumes hitting the ceiling right around 16K. And it just doesn't, if you look back in March there, that's about the same as it was around Thanksgiving.
Well, you know, when talking with Anthony, our lead economist, right? Is this not a result of kind of the self-limiting thing? I mean, you can only produce out of the raw materials or materials you have, right? So if that's limited, this is limited. So doesn't it kind of...
Yeah, it's self-limiting.
You can't get over 6. It just self-limits.
If you can't get the parts moved to the plant...
That's what I'm saying.
Because the capacity isn't available, we're seeing this, we're running up against this boundary consistently.
Yeah.
So we don't think that things are going to get that much tighter because demand simply isn't going to grow that much faster. Because it can't.
It can't.
It's self-limiting.
Yeah.
So we're not, like you said, we're not going to be able to see a huge spike in tender rejection rates unless all the carriers out there decide to take a vacation at the same time next week, which we've already gone through road check, which typically happens right around Memorial Day,
and that's what we're going through. We're going through those areas where the most, you know, you're going to see the highest percentage likely take vacations, et cetera. That's what we're going through right now.
Exactly. So let's look at the map again to see where all these, you know, week over week tightenings are happening. So in Houston, for instance, Montgomery, Phoenix, all seeing some loosening. Week over week. It doesn't mean that this market is going to all of a sudden have dramatic amounts of capacity available. It just means that week over week we have seen significant changes. The height of these markets represents their market share value. So the taller the market is, the bigger the volume. And of course, 2 of the tallest markets in the country right now are in dark blue. And that's what's driving the majority of this tender rejection rate increase in the United States. In the national index, you got Charlotte getting in on the action. So the southeastern corridor, except for Montgomery, all showing pretty strong tightening here over the last week. Out there on the West Coast, no shock. Ontario, Los Angeles rising once again. Let's go ahead and check out this market up here, the Chicago market. Chicago, tender volumes and tender rejections were sliding down rather significantly out of March and through April.
Yeah, no kidding. They were dropping pretty good.
Yeah, and then now we've seen a trend reversal. Now, if you notice, we never dropped back below where we were in February. So, but this is an interesting trend line that we're starting to form here as things start to build back up. So if you're a carrier operating out of the Chicago market, you might see a little bit more action on the spot market. Going to definitely see more volumes on the contracted side.
Yeah, it's a good place to be going, right? There's demand after the holiday. You might want to think about starting your next trip out from Joliet or Chicago or somewhere right in that area, right?
And a lot of people domiciled right there. So you know, if you are looking for some home time, you're going to have something to get you going when you come back off online.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Zach. We'll catch up with you tomorrow or Thursday. So.